I almost didn't want to use this slide because it has been talked about a lot today in the WHO workshop, and also Dr. Teresa mentioned that, but this is where it all starts. When we walk into the rooms where ambassadors are completely new to what hepatitis is, we have to use these kind of numbers that draw comparisons. Now, we shouldn't be drawing comparison to which disease is important and which one is not, but we have to bring some attention to hepatitis, what it deserves. Look at the mortality numbers, comparable to TB and causing more deaths than HIV and malaria combined. So this is how we have to catch the attention of people who don't know the data in depth. Next slide, please. So not just that, we know that the mortality of HIV and malaria is declining, but hepatitis is on the rise. Next slide. So hepatitis is not a scientific challenge. We already know that we have the tools to eliminate that, and we also have proven delivery models, like Dr. Hassani was just here. Egypt is a shining example of that, but we just do not have the priority for hepatitis like that. For example, we still are struggling with limited domestic funding. There is no international funding mechanism for hepatitis like HIV, and we have competing global health agendas and weak integration in the broader health agendas. So we have the technical tools to eliminate, but we lack the political oxygen at the highest political level and at the UN as well. Next slide, please. So why was this group of friends needed? First of all, there was no dedicated political platform for hepatitis at the UN. The advocacy across different platforms was fragmented, and there was limited presence of hepatitis in high-level meetings, in political declarations, and overall in UN processes, which is why the people sitting in those offices and at the highest political level, the ministers, the heads of states, they don't really consider hepatitis as the problem, as an issue that needs their attention. So the group of friends is an informal coalition of member states at UN New York, and it is focused on elevating hepatitis on this very agenda at the UN. So at this platform, we convene governments, align the messaging, and we try to drive visibility and accountability. Next slide, please. So this is the group of friends today. We have 63 member states who have historically participated in group of friends, and the countries that are highlighted in red are the leadership or the co-chairs of the group of friends. Next slide, please. So this is the very robust leadership circle. We have these 4 permanent missions leading the group of friends at UN New York, and Egypt was the founding member of the group, which was later joined by Uganda, Brazil, and Malaysia. Next slide, please. So this is the example of what Dr. Hassani mentioned. This was the very first meeting of the UN Group of Friends, and in this photo we can see Dr. Anthony Zaya, who was the presidential advisor for Minister of Health of Ghana, and we have Heba Mustafa, who was the deputy permanent representative of Egypt at that time. So we are shaking hands on it, on what Egypt donated medication for 10,000 patients to Ghana. Next slide, please. So how this group of friends actually works. What we are trying to do is to essentially create a space for dialogue beyond formal negotiations. The example of this will come in later slides. And we are aligning the priorities and the messaging. We have already elevated hepatitis in global agendas like NCDs. We managed to incorporate hepatitis-related language in the political declaration for NCDs at the UN. And previously, hepatitis did not have a place on that agenda. But today, I have been hearing again and again that liver health as a whole should be the part of NCD's agenda, as more than 70% of liver cancer is caused by hep B and C, and it's the 3rd leading cause of cancer death in the world. So we also have mention of hepatitis as a comorbidity in upcoming HIV political declaration draft. We managed to project it in SDGs. The countries presented their voluntary national reviews at high-level political forum, and many of them incorporated their hepatitis-related progress in their presentations. And we also have this year the hepatitis mentioned in Global Health and Foreign Policy Resolution. So this is how we are shaping languages in political declarations and popping up hepatitis here and there before we get the full declaration that is dedicated to hepatitis and the full hepatitis high-level meeting. Next slide, please. So these are some milestones. What started as a small coalition in 2022 is now a growing political platform which is shaping global attention on hepatitis. So all this momentum that is being created, we are building it towards the high-level meeting on hepatitis elimination. Next slide, please. So this is the example, one of the examples. It was a side event at the 78th World Health Assembly. It was with robust participation from member states. And the language that was presented, co-developed by WHA, in this meeting, it ended up being a part of the NCD's political declaration. Next slide. So we also work not just in New York, but in Washington, D.C. as well. So this was the event at the Embassy of Pakistan in the U.S. that we convened to garner more support for the program. Next slide. This was the briefing of the African group at UN New York, and again, Egypt was very kind to give us the place in that very busy agenda to talk about hepatitis for 10 full minutes. So how is this advocacy distinct from the other advocacy happening in hepatitis space? So what makes this model different is that it doesn't rely on influencing governments from the outside, which is of value, which is still of value, but it actually brings the government together as the drivers of the agenda. We are working as the Secretariat for the Group of Friends, but this whole process is member state-led. And we already saw the four big countries that are the part of the leadership circle. So in a sense, it is less about advocacy in a traditional sense and more about organizing political will within the system. So we are mobilizing from within the system. And we do not influence member states, but we sure work on mobilizing their interest towards hepatitis. So next slide. So hepatitis elimination is shaped in two places. Okay, I'll talk about that later, but first, this information vacuum. We gathered the national program managers and also the CSOs here to let them know how their work is shaping the global political agenda and the UN Group of Friends agenda that we are talking about. Next slide. So these two directions of policy influence are from the ground up, from the country level policy. So academics leading research and CSOs doing microelimination projects from the grassroots level, and then you guys sitting in the ministries of health and driving the local policy according to that evidence. But there's another route, from the top down. This is where policy flows from global agendas down to the countries. This is where many of you come in. When a draft resolution is developed in New York or Geneva, it is sent to the capitals for review. And at that point, ministries rely on technical experts, the national program managers, to interpret, advise, and guide the national positions. This input feeds directly into global negotiations. So you are, whether you know it or not, influencing this agenda. So the question is, whether you are part of global advocacy or not, you already are, but how informed and visible this role should be. So we would invite you all to join this line of communication. We are the Secretariat for the Group of Friends, and we are open, and you can write to us, you can reach out to us anytime you want. You have new ideas, you have questions, so we are open to that. And we are gonna have the interactive dialogue as a part of this meeting as well, so please take part in that, ask questions, share feedback. Next slide. So the advocacy roadmap. From 2025, we had this big success in the UN Group of Friends annual meeting in September, where so many different speakers called for the WHA resolution on hepatitis elimination. To give this call the technical legitimacy, we were advised by the missions to have this started from UN in Geneva. So the resolution was called for, and the work that was done around it ended up in a ministerial side event that we are convening at the 79th World Health Assembly. So the outcome of this meeting will be a ministerial declaration, which Dr. John Ward will be talking about shortly. So our ultimate goal is to codify all these lessons into ministerial declarations, and ultimately that declaration also calls for the UN high-level meeting on hepatitis elimination. So in summary, generating evidence is one part of the equation, but moving an issue into the global agenda It requires understanding of how decisions are actually made through relationships, through timing and framing. It also requires working collectively because legitimacy comes from coalition, no individual advocacy. So there are always things we are trained in as public health, but when we talk about the UN Group of Friends advocacy, we are stepping into a space that is completely new to us. So we had to learn on how to build trust with the member states, and it takes time, to how to do the informal diplomacy, develop personal relationships, and all of that. So we are stepping beyond technical work into this policy space and trying to influence the global political agenda for hepatitis elimination. Thank you. Sorry?
Just after we see this meeting.
Okay.
For dialogue.
I have the mobile mic, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
we have a few mics. I know people are way in the back, but if you have any comments on